Hey everybody, it's Connie with SimplySimpleStamping.com. Thank you guys so much for joining me for a new YouTube premiere. I am really excited about the projects I have lined up for you tonight. We are going to be doing a now, wow, or holy cow. I've got 3 cards for you. One, if you have just a little bit of time, you need to make it quick, I've got you covered with the now card. If you have a little more time, maybe you want to step it up a notch or two, I've got you covered with a wow card. But boy, if you want to go all out for somebody, I mean somebody's really, really special, I have got the holy cow card. And we are going to be using the How Sweet It Is suite from the Occasions catalog and from Stampin' Up. Now, if you have your catalog handy, you can look up the suite, and it is on page 14 and 15. Now, if you haven't already done so, you're going to want to log into your YouTube account. That way you can chat, because if you're on live with me right now, so it is Wednesday, February 13th, 7 p.m. Central Time. If you're on right now, guess what? I'm on live with you too. You can just head over to that little chat box and I'm there, and I'm going to be able to chat with you during the entire video. Now, if you're on after that time, maybe the premiere's already taken place, not a problem. Just leave a comment. I will be checking in with those comments and getting back to you. I love chatting with you, so please take a moment to go ahead and log in so that Now, I want you to relax tonight, have some fun. I don't want you to mess with trying to write down measurements or any of that. I want you in the chat room having a good time. So if you be sure to just go to SimplySimpleStamping.com tomorrow, February 14th, 7 a.m. Central Time. All those measurements are going to be there, photos of all the projects for tonight. So yeah, have a good time tonight. Don't worry about writing all that stuff down. It's all going to be there for you tomorrow. How about we talk a little bit about the stamp set we're going to use tonight? This is a really great set, and it's called Sweetest Thing. Love this. I love candy, okay? I really love candy. And so this suite spoke to me as soon as I saw it. And How Sweet It Is such a perfect one. So we've got some wonderful little candy jars, some good candy to go inside, and some really great sentiments as well. Now, this set also comes, or the suite, I should say, also has a cardstock pack. I love working with these cardstock packs because you get 8 sheets of 3 colors. So this one comes with Melon Mambo, Coastal Cabana, and Gorgeous Grape. So my projects tonight will all be using these colors. Again, we love color coordination. We like making it easy. So now I know sometimes the toughest part of getting a new stamp set and a new bundle is struggling for ideas. Oh no, what am I going to do with it? Well, on top of the 3 cards I'm going to share with you tonight, I have a collection of tutorials that I am giving away for free. Stay tuned to the end of the video and I'll share with you how you can get those tutorials. But you know what? I think it's time to get to stamping. I got my coffee. Let's go. Let's talk about the supplies that you need for our Now card. I'm going to be using the Whisper White thick cardstock for my card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4 inches. I've got 2 pieces of cardstock from the How Sweet It Is cardstock pack, Melon Mambo, and that piece is 3/4 inch by 5.5 inches. And then the Coastal Cabana is 1/2 inch by 5.5 inches. I've also got a little piece of baker's twine that I just made into a simple little bow. And this is optional, but I think it really steps it up. These are the Gingham Gala adhesive back sequins. And this kind of really polished off the card. And so we can add those, but like I said, it is optional. To begin, I'm going to adhere the Melon Mambo and the Coastal Cabana together. And now I want to cut a flag. Now, I have given you plenty of extra cardstock here, so how deep you cut your flag is entirely up to you. But we want to snip out, you notice I cut a slice right down the middle, and then I just come up on both sides until I cut myself a little flag, just like that. Because I'm working with a photopolymer set, I want my Stampin' Mat underneath me. I've got our sentiment, make it a sweet celebration. And I want you to stamp that as close to this flag as you can. We want to give ourselves plenty of room. This end is going to be cut off. Let's go ahead and trim that down. Yep. And now we're going to adhere that to the left side of our cardstock. Now I've probably got myself maybe about 1.25 inches from the bottom. Now we can stamp our focal image, one of the candy jars, and I'm going to use the nice tall one. We are going to stamp that in this space right here. And for this one, I want jelly beans. So I'm going to take my little jelly bean stamp and let's go right inside. Now we get to have some fun. I'm going to bring in 3 Stampin' Write markers in the matching colors that go with that cardstock. So Gorgeous Grape, Coastal Cabana, and Melon Mambo. And guys, this is where you can just get creative. So we can color in part of our jar and some of those jelly beans. I can now come in with my Melon Mambo. We'll get a little bit more of the jar. And a few jelly beans. And now with Gorgeous Grape, we can get the last of these little jelly beans. To adhere my Baker's Twine bow, I'm going to use a mini glue dot, and I'm just kind of, I hope you can see it, I'm just kind of rolling it into a little ball, and we're going to put that right here. I have to roll it because the space here for my bow is really tiny, so we can't have that big glue dot, but that works perfect. Now that's sweet, but I wanted to add a little more purple, and so I'm going to use my adhesive back sequins. I'm just using my take your pick tool to pick them up, but you see that just makes it super easy. And oh my goodness, I forgot to stamp happy birthday. Let's go add our happy birthday. I'll come back in with that Memento Black and we'll add our happy birthday here. I thought it seemed a little naked. There we go. I thought I would also bring in, this is kind of what I'm going to call my stepped up now card. If you have the framelits and a little extra time, you could go ahead and stamp and die cut your candy jar. I also did a nice little bit of shading here just with a sponge dauber. I'll be kind of showing you a little bit more about how I did that in a minute, but you can see that my banner here went all the way across and I just added that. And then I decided to add my happy birthday in Gorgeous Grape. It is a fun little stamp set. I hope that you guys enjoyed that one. Now, we're going to use the stamp set and we're going to step it up a little notch and we're going to use the framelits. Let me take a minute just to share with you a little bit about the framelits that come when you order it as a bundle. Of course, we love the bundles, right? We love to save 10% when we buy the stamp set and the framelits together. So let's head back over to my stamp table and talk about some framelits. There are 14 framelits in the set, some of them die cut, some of them die cut and emboss and give you some nice texture. Let me show you what I mean. So here's some pieces I just die cut. So you can see I stamped and then die cut. These here I'm very excited about because these were stamped and look, this kind of makes the jar look like glass. I think that is really fun. Yes, we'll be using that technique here in a little bit, so stay tuned. Well, now this lollipop was really fun. There is, let me show you here, we've got 2 lollipops. One will cut and one will cut and emboss. And you're probably able to see it a little bit better on the framelit than you will on this cardstock. But yes, it gives a nice little swirl to your lollipop. Here it is stamped. Really sweet too. And this I just had to show you because I was just kind of playing around of what I could do. And so I thought, oh, I could make, you know, and put some little lollipops in the jar. And that's just with half of a toothpick. I don't know, just having some fun. Then the little label I think is awesome. My happy birthday and sweets for you. Yes, sweets for you will fit inside there. And then we also have a little label framelit. This could go here. This can go on the jars, super cute. So you've got a lot of different little options with that. Now, the favorite part for me, because it's the candy part, because like I said, love candy, love it. We have 2 framelits of each of these. And so I'm going to bring this over. You see you get 6 pieces of candy and they cut and they emboss, but each one is different. So they have stripes or they have swirls, and that I just think, again, it gives it a lot of options. You could die cut these in a lot of different colors. And then, of course, put them together and they can go inside a candy jar. Yeah, I know, super fun. And then we have one more little piece of candy, and you can see here that it is stamped, and then you can die cut. So a lot of really great options with this framelit set. Now be sure to stay tuned to the end of the video, because I'll be sharing with you how you can get a set of tutorials that incorporates all of this for free. For our wow card, I think you're going to really like this one today because it's really not as detailed as you might think. I'm going to be using Coastal Cabana for my card base. Again, this is from that cardstock pack, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25 inch. And then guys, I decided to get a little fancy. We're going to go with glossy cardstock. I hope that you can see really great shine on this paper. And I've got a piece that is 3 3/4 by 5 inch and another piece 2 by 3. Again, it's just some scraps, so whatever you've got. I also have, is this not sweet? This is a little ribbon knot, and this is our reversible ribbon. Granny apple green on one side, Coastal Cabana on the other. It's a nice shiny ribbon, ties very nicely. We're just going to use a little knot to highlight. And then I have a piece of Melon Mambo that is 1/2 inch by 4.25. For my sentiment, I've inked that up in the tuxedo black, and we are going to stamp this all the way over to the left side of our Melon Mambo cardstock. And yes, once again, I have my pierce mat underneath me. It just makes for a much better impression when we're using the photopolymer. I'm now going to take the fatter candy jar, and we're going to stamp this on our glossy. Now, I want you to know glossy slick, so you want to make sure you come straight down. Don't slide your stamp around. You do want to give a firm pressure, but just make sure you're not allowing that stamp to shift. And for this one, I think I'm going to use the wrapped candy. We'll stamp that inside the jar. We're now going to color it in with our markers. Guys, it's really a lot like we just did. Here's one I already have ready to go. So I just highlighted some of the jar in the Coastal Cabana, and then my candy I did in Gorgeous Grape and Melon Mambo. And now to do some die cutting. So I'm going to place the matching framelit there on my Big Shot. You notice I have my thin die adapter and my multi-purpose platform. I have that on a cutting plate. We'll get it all lined up. We'll add our top cutting plate, and now we can run that through our Big Shot. All right, that is cut and ready to go. Let's bring in our other piece of glossy and a Coastal Cabana ink pad. Now, this technique is really a lot of fun. It's a great way to highlight any image. Yeah, I could put it there, and it's okay, but watch this. I'm going to come in with a sponge dauber, and I'm going to need a little scratch paper for this. I'm going to ink up that sponge dauber, and I want to get some of that off. Do you see it comes out a little harsh at first? And we're just going to start swirling. Less is more. We can always add more, but we can't take it away. So we're going to just kind of swirl in a little oval pattern here. Ink it up again, take a little bit off, and swirl. On this glossy cardstock, this comes out really, really nice. Let me stop for just a second so you can see. This is what I'm going for. So I see I need to come over a little bit more, ink it up, dab it off, and we can just stretch that oval a little bit right here. And that's looking great. See how that image really pops now? I've put snail here on the back of my glossy cardstock. Let's add that to our card base. I'm going to use my mini glue dots today. So we're going to place some mini glue dots here on the back of my focal image and on the back of my sentiment. Let's go all the way down. All right, peeling off all of our backings from our mini dimensionals. I can add my focal image there. I can add my sentiment. You notice it goes all the way to the edge. And now for that ribbon, we'll come back in with our mini glue dots. Press the ribbon onto a glue dot. We don't need to roll this one because the knot is plenty big to hide that. And now we can add that right there. And see, that really, don't you just think that that sponging really makes a difference? I wanted to share with you the How Sweet It Is Designer Series paper. I know sometimes in the catalog, it's hard to really see the beauty of this paper. And remember, our paper is double-sided. So you get this and you get this. So let me go over each sheet with you. And you're going to notice as I share the Designer Series paper, that one side will be a big bold pattern and the opposite side will be a little more subtle. So with this one, we have the Melon Mambo stripes and these wonderful gumballs. This is going to be great if you're a scrapbooker or just to be able to add these to a fun card. I think this one's my favorite because I love polka dots and I love purple. So we have all those colors incorporated there. And on this side, we have a Coastal Cabana stripe. This one is so yummy, right? Cupcakes, candy, lollipops, gummy bears, jelly beans. I have died and gone to heaven with that paper. On the opposite side, we have a Coastal Cabana polka dot. You know, I think many times when we use this paper, we struggle because we love both sides. But you know what I have noticed? That most of the time I'm drawn to one side or the other. So it usually works out okay. This one here is in the Melon Mambo, and we have cupcakes and candy jars. And oh my goodness, look at those gorgeous stripes. This has been a really popular sheet right here. And you can just cut it in strips or you can use it whole. Gummy bears are my weakness, guys. I love gummy bears, and I think this one is so great. We'll be using this sheet on our Holy Cow card, so stay tuned for that one. And then we have this just absolutely delicious stripe here on the opposite side. I saved this one for last because it's kind of extra special. When you use it with the framelits, you can actually die cut the actual images from the paper. The framelits are designed to die cut those images. Love that. Now, when you use this, you'll just cut it in between the two. And guys, you're gonna have 24 images that you can cut out from this. And then the opposite side is, again, just a wonderful collection in Melon Mambo Coastal Cabana of just candy. We've made a now. We've made a wow. Now it's time to make a holy cow. Oh my gosh, this last card is really, really cool because I'm going to show you how to make a candy jar look like glass. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. All right, here we go with our Holy Cow card. So we're going to start with a piece of our Designer Series paper, the How Sweet It Is Designer Series paper. I have this cut at 4 inches by 7 inches. We also need to die cut one of the large jars from the Designer Series paper. I chose the gumballs. You can see I just already die cut that with the matching framelits. Now for our cardstock, I have a piece of Coastal Cabana, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I have another piece that is 2 inches by 4 1/2 inches, and then I did a little score here at 1/2 inch. I have 2 identical pieces in the Gorgeous Grape and the Melon Mambo. These are 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. And then my Whisper White. I've got a piece here that's 2 1/2 by 4 inches. Another piece that is 1 1/2 inches by 4 1/4. I have a piece of our window sheet. Now this is just a scrap, but approximately 2 1/4 by 2 3/4. And one more of our little ribbon knots with that reversible ribbon. We need to do a quick cut here on our Designer Series paper. By the way, this is the one with the gummy bears on the back and the stripes. When you cut your Designer Series paper, you want your stripes going horizontal. I'm going to cut 3/4 inch off. So this piece is now 4 inches by 5 1/4. And our remaining piece is 4 inches by 1 3/4. Let's do some stamping. I'll start with the Coastal Cabana, and I'm going to take that long piece. This was the 1 1/2 by 4 1/4. I'm going to take the word treats. Let's stamp that down at the bottom. It is important we stamp at the bottom. We're going to be using the rest of this. with my gorgeous grape, let's stamp Happy Birthday right up here in the upper left corner. And of course, that is on the 2.5 by 4 inch piece of Whisper White. I'm going to bring my Stampin' Trimmer back in because I want to go ahead and cut this down to 3 inches. And now I want to stamp Happy Birthday again, and I'm going to go about 1/3 of the way down. Now to stamp on our window sheet, we actually need to use a StazOn pad. This is actually designed for stamping on surfaces like this because a water-based ink would not work. So we're going to ink up that large jar. I'm going to bring in that grid paper so I can see. It's kind of hard to see this. Yes, I've got that Stampin' Pierce mat underneath me. When you stamp this, just kind of like what we did when we stamped on that glossy, don't let it slide around. So take it nice and slow, give it a good firm press, but just don't let it slide. And then I'm just going to peel that away. See, isn't that nice? Now that's going to dry fairly quickly. If you're not familiar with StazOn, there's a plastic kind of a little pad cover. You notice I adhered mine to my lid because you don't want to lose that. And it does say don't discard, but they really do mean it. But on your StazOn, you want to close that up right away. You also want to clean your stamps right away. And I'm going to want to clean that really good. Now, they call it StazOn. Why? Because it stays on. So yes, this stamp will permanently be stained black, but let me show you. After I've cleaned it, nothing is left behind. I don't have to worry about that black transferring. How about I prove it? I'm going to come in with a very light colored ink pad. Ta-da! See, it looks great. I don't have to worry that black did not transfer over into my Coastal Cabana. Nothing like a little proof, right? Our stamping is done. Now it's time to do some die cutting. So remember, I did already die cut my giant candy jar. We're going to take our Treats framelit, and then we're going to take 2 of the wrapped candies. And I'm doing these here on an end. Now we will be covering this up. Let me just kind of show you. It'll go like this. So make sure you're kind of tucked in there a little bit. Same with this one. Now let's go run these through the Big Shot. We're now going to take one of those last little dies, and we are going to, from the center, here at the bottom, we're going to cut out one more piece of candy. So we're going to run that through the Big Shot too. I need to die cut my jar. I'm going to tell you, I really prefer to have some scratch paper underneath me when I do this. It just makes it work a little bit better. And I want you to notice this about these jars. I can die cut it this way. That's where the ink is facing up, or I can flip it over and it's going to die cut exactly the same. So it is kind of nice that if you're concerned about that ink getting on anything, well, we're just going to put it face down, ink down, and you really don't need to worry about it because StazOn does dry quickly. But let's go ahead and die cut this. All right, there are all our die cut pieces. So it's time to put our card together. I want to adhere the glass, if you will, onto my jar. And this is where you can see whichever way you put that on the framelit, you notice it fits. I love it. So to do the adhering, I have got just a little bitty piece of our sponge, and I've got some of my multi-purpose adhesive. I'm going to add just a little bit to my silicone mat. It doesn't take a lot. So what I want to do is take that sponge, add that glue, tap, tap, tap. Just don't move this. We don't want to get glue on the front at all, but just enough. And what I love about this tip is that it's not going to show. We can now take that, give that a nice little back rub so it's all good and stuck. Isn't it fun? I love that. Now that gluey sponge, we want to put it back in an airtight container. We can keep using this over and over and over again. If it ever gets to the point where it's just so sticky, you can actually just kind of snip off that sticky part and just keep using the sponge, I guess, until it's down to a little bitty nub, but you can keep reusing this for quite a long time before you need to trim it down. We're going to start by adding our gorgeous grape right here in the center of our Gummy Bear Designer Series paper. We're now going to add that Coastal Cabana with the little flap. That's going to go here on the back, but we want to line that up perfectly with that gorgeous grape. So I've got adhesive right there. We're going to take our Melon Mambo and it's going to get adhered to the flap. We're going to hide that. We don't want to see that, right? So we're only going to put adhesive on this section. I'm going to line it up with the gorgeous grape and we can adhere that down. Do you see how it's working? We'll take the striped side. So let me put adhesive on the gummy bear side. This is going to go down the center right here. See, I told you that little piece that we cut out would be hidden. Now we can add our candy jar. And I'm actually going to adhere that with dimensionals. We'll come back in with those mini dimensionals. So we'll add these all around our jar. Our jar can go like that. I love that little extra bit of height. I just think that's really cute. Our happy birthday sentiment here on the inside. I've got adhesive here on our candy, so let's just add those right there on the side. I've added adhesive to the back of my Designer Series paper, but you need to avoid this area. We need to avoid adhesive here. So go all around the sides, but leave that spot at the bottom open. We'll pay attention, of course, which direction we adhere this. And here in a minute, let me show you what it looks like on the back. Look, it's like a little piece of candy. And I like to at least initial my art and put 2019. Time to add our front sentiment. So there's my little happy birthday. Now you could cut yourself a flag. I showed you how to do that. I do love to use my triple banner punch, and you see it slides right in there. We can give that a punch. Here. We can add that right here onto the flap. My little treats will add a couple mini dimensionals, and that fits right there. And now we can add our little bow, and that's really just going to polish it off because look at that. Isn't that is a holy cow card. I am telling you what a fun card. When you write your message, it's going to be totally hidden, but yep, that's mantle worthy right there. There we go. We've got now, wow, and holy cow. I'm curious which one your favorite is. I gotta tell you, I think it's the holy cow. I love this little extra flap, and I love that we made that jar look like glass. So cool. I hope you guys enjoyed the cards tonight. Now, if you needed to grab any of the measurements, remember I told you, you're gonna be able to find those tomorrow, February 14th, 2019 at 7 a.m. Central Time. That's when the blog post will go up. I'll have all the measurements there. The photos will be there. So everything that you need, you're gonna be able to see it tomorrow. So head over there. Now, while you're there, hey, maybe you would like to order that bundle. I would, right? Now that we've got all these great ideas, but if you do, and you use the February host code, and I've got it right down there on the bottom of the screen for you, if you use that host code on an order of $30 or more, and you can order anything, all right, anything, but as long as your order is $30 or more, you're going to get that free set of tutorials. And guys, it's a phenomenal set of tutorials. So I think there's about 7 or 8 in the collection, and then the projects that I shared tonight. And you know what? If you guys will subscribe to simplysimplestamping.com, I've got another project that I'm going to be sharing later on using the sweet cups. And they are so cute. Great little project. So be sure to subscribe to Simply Simple Stamping as well. And speaking of subscribing, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, be sure to do that too. You can click that big red subscribe button and ring the bell so that YouTube will give you notifications the next time I'm on. Now, speaking of the next time I will be on, my next YouTube premiere will be Wednesday, February 27th 2019 at 7 p.m. Central Time, and I'm going to have some new projects for you. In fact, I think I'll be working on those tomorrow, so got to get busy. Guys, thank you so much for chatting with me tonight. I have had so much fun being over there. I've never typed so fast in my life, but it is so much fun to be able to connect with you in this way. Now, remember, if you're watching this after the premiere has aired, doesn't mean we can't still chat. Just leave me some comments right there. Give me a thumbs up on today's video if you liked it too. That always helps me know what you enjoyed and what you want to see more of. All right, my friends, I think that is it for me tonight. I've had a lot of coffee, so hopefully I'll be able to sleep. But I will see you guys on the next video. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.